The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the United States preparing to send a delegation to the 48th meeting of heads of government of CARICOM in Barbados in 2 days. Their focus is to strengthen relations with the region while reinforcing the region's place in the prominence for the United States. So, is this a position of power for the region to make demands of its own? We discuss it coming up for you. And surprise, surprise, marital rape in the headlines again. Will this issue follow this administration straight to the general election? Make a decision or don't make a decision. That's what many of us are saying. But for Bahamian families around the Bahamas needing economic opportunities that would impact their lives, they say that is the priority and not this ongoing debate that is ebbing and flowing every so often. And do you have a right to know just how fresh the eggs on the shelves at your favorite food store are? Well, you should. So why is this carton, this one right here, why is this carton of egg, why was this sold about a week and a half ago with no expiration date? We're going to discuss the quality of your food in your grocery store coming up this evening on Beyond the Headlines. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, you heard a group of representatives have penned a letter expressing their intent to the Secretary of State to attend the 48th session of CARICOM in Barbados in a couple of days. That meeting is being held in Barbados, and what the United States wants to do is to reinforce its position in the region, saying that the region is its third, get that, its third port of entry. That's right. Now, the United States, because of the relationship that the region has with China, all of the investments and so much happening in nations around the region, that makes the United States very nervous. And they want to attend the meeting, the 48th session of CARICOM, to have regional leaders understand how important the region is to the United States, the entry into the United States, the various shipping lanes, and all the other dependencies that the United States has as a result of the very proximity to the United States by the region, and have the region understand this, as I said, and obviously keep China at bay. And so tonight we're going to talk about, because we know what China has done, not just here in the Bahamas, but in nations around the region, the investments, the foreign direct investments, just really bailing out a number of economies, strengthening a number of economies, and helping regional economies just find its footing with a number of investments that have been happening in the last several years. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to jump into it and hear exactly what the Hot Topics panel has to say. One of them is on their way, and the other is here. And so good evening to you, Ellington. It's good to have you here. Listen, a lot is happening. I imagine now this CARICOM meeting and session that's happening in a couple of days just become major news.
Absolutely, Shanique. And this should be welcome news for CARICOM and this region, as the United States has finally refocused itself in this area. I think if you all remember, a few years ago, there were some members of the US Congress that raised this issue about what China was doing in this region. And say what you like, that means something. When you're one of the big players and you understand geopolitical movement and strategic positioning, that means something when a superpower from the other side of the world try to come on the doorstep of a superpower in this part of the world. Mm-hmm. And that's what we were seeing with NATO moving its power into the Ukraine and into Russian area. And those things cause conflicts, they cause war. And to think that it does not affect us, it would affect us one way or the other. If we worked it well, it could affect us for the positive. And so it takes us and the region to come together as a unit, if we have to, and see how best we can make these relationships while these two giants are trying to strategically maneuver themselves and position themselves to have an advantage over these areas, and we can make it work for us.
In fact, it was several members of Congress who penned this letter to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, saying, listen, the Caribbean is a key pillar for the United States national security. This is how important now they are building up the Caribbean to be as a third border of the United States. Listen to that. The Caribbean plays an indispensable role in addressing regional challenges from countering illicit drug trafficking to curbing irregular migration and human smuggling. It goes on to say that the Caribbean is essential to U.S. trade and energy security, serving as a crucial hub for shipping lanes and a strategic partner in diversifying energy sources. And so to place all of this on the vulnerable region that we are, very small group of countries, then obviously this meeting in Barbados in 2 days has just become a major thing that regional leaders must know how they're going to the table, don't you think?
It is and has always been major, Shanique. It's just a matter of some administration in the U.S. did not pay attention and allowed the relationship to deteriorate over the years. And all of the subvention that they used to assist the Bahamas with, China has seen the vacuum, and they began to step in to fill that void. And we welcome it, of course, as a country. And this is nothing new. This is basically, especially as it relates to the Bahamas, this is the history of the Bahamas. During the blockade day years, rum running years, or anything that happened, these chain of islands have always been strategic as it relates to moving from the east to the west. And so we are strategically located. I'm not sure how much we realize it, but you read it, the United States realize it. And they've got to be careful what they allow to happen on their border. And so we've got to...
Their third border.
On their third border. and we are, because if this deteriorates, their security is compromised.
Well, one thing that's wonderful that this letter said is also as Donald Trump was elected on that theme of making America great again, these congressmen realize in the letter expressed to the Secretary of State that if that is to happen, that has to spill over to the region, because the region cannot be great in the region hurting, and they expect the region to shut out and shut its doors from other opportunities that's coming from elsewhere.
Exactly, and precisely that is exactly where we are today, okay? And that's why China has seen that and been taken advantage over it in a major way. And so it's interesting to see how it's going to play out between these two giants, where the one is going to start dumping even more. And but obviously the U.S. is not going to allow on their front doorstep for that to happen. Some administrations from time to time will change policies, change focus, but this has been America's focus for many years. If you remember back in the day when Russia attempted to do that in Cuba, it's called when they had the missile buildup. They had an emergency meeting, and that's a lot of Bahamians don't know that's where the road JFK got its name, when all of the world leaders converge here. We have a monument down there just to give you a little bit of history, West Bay Street and Blake Road, right at that intersection there, to commemorate all of that, okay? And so America and and other countries decided they could not have allowed that, and the same thing exists today. They're not all out in wars, but obviously there is war, a strategic maneuvering taking place, and America is they've come to the understand. They've never not know this. It is not that they didn't understand it. It's just a matter of different administration have shifted focus and didn't see the value of keeping these
keeping these nations that's sort of right on their doorsteps, because, especially the Bahamas, keeping it sort of aligned and also well positioned
the
economically.
Drugs, the human smuggling.
Yep.
And once you have drugs and human smuggling, every other thing illegal, including terrorists, is possible to slip through the gap. And they have experienced that on their southern border with Mexico already.
Yeah, they absolutely realize that. I want our leaders, when they meet in a couple of days in Barbados, to also bring up the fact that another key area of this administration is to make America healthy again. That's important in this region. Food security is important. Healthy and access and accessibility to good, healthy foods. You see us, what we're doing on this show just last week. I think it was Senator Barry Griffin, who talked about the government's push to help with the pinch of inflation.
Absolutely.
By going and seeking out directly to many manufacturers so that Bahamians can forge that relationship.
Right.
Well, if the region and the Bahamas are so now important to what the United States seeks to accomplish and to shore up its borders, then they ought to now assist us with food security, healthy access to healthy foods, farming and agriculture. What do you think?
And absolutely, not only that, you've got to now that you recognize or you come back to your senses as it relates to the importance of us. I'm talking us as the Bahamas now, of course, the region also, but us. Then we want to negotiate. We want to talk to you about some favorable terms as it relates to trade. Okay, let's work with some things. We've been trading with you, and that is what Trump is now doing with Canada and Mexico and even China. They have been trading. They've had tariffs on American goods when American didn't have tariffs on their goods coming into them. And so he is saying, man, I'm going to put tariffs on you as you do on me. And so we've got to be able to say to them, listen, man, if we're going to trade with you, the cost of living in my little country is high. Okay, we don't manufacture much. You've got to give us some favorable terms. We got to know who we are. We've got to know our position geographically. We got to understand the power that we hold. Okay, major shipping lane that connects the world. Okay, and so we must be able to negotiate terms in the best interest of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, while we act as good neighbors and partners in this whole thing that
I
they're
agree.
talking
We
about.
do not need to go to that table in CARICOM. I don't know if they're going to attend the entire few days of the 48th meeting, or they're just going to go perhaps and have a special session. But we need to go to whatever that session is, armed with some demands of our own, meaning us, the region.
With all of the criticism that this administration have been facing as it relates to travel, Shanique, right now,
I recommend
this
the most important trip.
They attend this one fully.
Don't
go half-stepping in this one.
Yeah, no.
If it's a 5-day, attend
go there,
5-day.
Go there in advance.
Maximize this and let's negotiate from a position of strength. You're not begging for anything.
Yes, absolutely.
We are mutual partners in this. Your security is at risk, and our security.
Our security, our food security, even our border security, because we are vulnerable. They can also discuss Haiti as well.
Absolutely.
The Trump administration is now saying, listen, they are prepared to step in and help CARICOM bring order to Haiti, have a Haitian-led initiative to bring order to Haiti. And so it's so much that really that this meeting is going to involve. It's good that those representatives will be there at the meeting, because then things can really get moving.
It begin moving,
Yeah, because they're at the table. But again, we're just discussing, obviously, not moving forward and allowing yourselves to be dictated to. Versus going and saying, you want us to cooperate with you. Well, here's, we're going to need some things.
But if you go to the table and people perceive that you don't have a plan, or you don't have an idea what direction you want to take, they're going to give you a plan. They're going to give you a direction.
They will.
So you must go there with a plan. You must go there and lay out what your negotiating strength, lay out what it is that you're looking for, and see how best we can both put this together and bring this marriage together.
Yeah. Of course, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell has responded to that letter by those congressmen to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. No doubt we'll look at that a little bit later in the week of what his position was. But speaking of food security, though, as one of the things, and making America healthy again, how about making the region healthy again? Because you saw a recent report from the region that says that the lifespan for many Caribbean citizens is really not favorable because of obesity, because of lack of access to good, healthy, quality food. And this is why I say, when we go to the table, we've got to go there ready to negotiate.
Absolutely.
This is now the time that we negotiate with the big brother to the north. And so it's necessary. So for example, now Leslie Miller brought this to me about more than a week ago, about a week and a half ago, that he purchased from a food store not too far from here. And he said to me, at first I didn't even know that the eggs had expiration date. And I'm like, what is Leslie talking about? I don't know. Is this something here? No, I'm not sure. No, it isn't. This was sold without an expiration date. It obviously eaten, used, all that. Yeah. This kind of stuff should not be made to happen. Justin, if you can pull that video so we can see how a carton of egg should look. Here's the egg there with the expiration date. Here's that egg that was purchased. You see it's fresh, and you know when it expires. You will see the camera will go once again with the expiration date used by date. So it's telling you March 20th, 2025, used by that date. Now, when people go at certain stores where they think they're getting a deal, and this is where they shop to these areas to figure that they win in. And they get this and they buy it, and there is no expiration date. What does that just say to the quality of food that's available to Bahamians who need all the help that they can get?
Again, these things that have limited shelf life, this is where we need consumer affairs again, and Senator Randy Roll has been doing a pretty good job, but I think there's much more that needs to be done as it relates to things like this that you're bringing to our attention. We need to ensure that consumers are getting quality products. We need to ensure that these grocers, and who we appreciate those that have been taking care of the Bahamian people and feeding them, but we need to ensure that they're keeping up the standards and not poisoning Bahamians to start with. Because sometimes you take these things and you go and you consume them, and you're not even sure what make you sick or what's going on with you. And so consumer affairs need to step up on that. It's unfortunate that people will try to circumvent and not put the date on these things so that they can sell them whether their shelf life has expired. And a lot of that is happening, has been happening, and that's one of the loopholes that consumer affairs need to look in seriously.
Absolutely. And again, as we go to CARICOM in a couple of days, it starts the 19th, by the way, in Barbados. As we go there, we should also make the Caribbean healthy again. Should be our initiative to present to those people.
And we should try to get the highest quality of foods. The ones that they keep for themselves is what we want. We don't want the one that they say cannot be sold in their country and they dump them in some other country. Okay, and we need to negotiate that, and we need to stop allowing it to come into this country and poisoning our people.
Listen, we're just getting started this evening. The marital rape matter is again just in the headlines. You all heard it in the newscast. Well, we're going to talk about it after this break and talk about, listen, how do you feel? You who are watching tonight, how do you feel with this emphasis on marital rape when it's so many other things? For example, a woman was followed in Coral Harbor. She was followed, held up at gunpoint, and robbed. This is in Coral Harbor. Yet some people are saying, but man, hold up, man. And the Prime Minister say, doggone rape, like, what we could... We'll talk about it after the break. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Rejuvenate, refresh, treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life's stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711 and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
What? You don't know who TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, but the Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, boy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Who are the boss for dancer?
International events and production. Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes, Cartel, and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where you see Saturday the 29th of March.
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Adi the Teacher, the Dancehall King, a.k.a. the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no muggle in a shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info.
Visit Ticket Flair or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1242-808-2369.
I remember Cartel I did it.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the battle over whether marital rape should be criminalized is reigniting fierce debate, with advocates ramping up pressure on lawmakers to take decisive action. As emotions run high, one stakeholder group is making an urgent plea demanding legislators rethink their stance on what they call a critical human rights issue. But the government is standing on business, seemingly unwilling to go back to the table on the issue. Laurencia Smith has the story, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
The director of the Bahamas Crisis Center, Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson, is calling on government to revisit its position on marital rape. Her appeal comes in response to Attorney General Ryan Pinder's recent announcement that government does not intend to introduce the marital rape bill before the end of its term.
The pain of spousal sexual assault. I think the word marital creates confusion in people's minds. They think marriage. They think we're talking about sex in marriage, which we're not. We're talking about violence. We're talking about savagery. We're talking about hurt and pain. And no one should have to live in that situation.
Prime Minister Philip Davis, speaking with the media on Monday during a sideline interview at the Urban Renewal Authority launch, urged women's advocacy group to examine the Protection Against Violence bill, stressing that government has strong laws to safeguard women. When pressed whether his administration will shift its position on marital rape, the Prime Minister stood firm.
I will touch it once I get a full understanding of what the Bahamians as a whole want, and not just one group. That one group on either side of the divide. I want to have some consensus as to what has to happen before we move forward. Whether I go to referendum or not, I say consensus. We can have consensus about going to referendum.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Davis maintained that rape is rape and emphasized that the law clearly defined what is considered rape.
Rape is rape. Marital is descriptive, right? And so we all lament and abhor any man who would inflict violence on his wife, and rape is an act of violence. And the law, there are laws to deal with it in a particular way. To what I call describe rape. When you start describing rape, you then get into more legal issues.
With advocacy groups continue to push for change, the debate over marital rape legislation remains a constant issue. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, following the Prime Minister's comments on the heated debate surrounding marital rape, leader of the official opposition Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, released a statement calling out the government on its stance on marital rape. Pintard wrote that the Free National Movement, FNM's position on marital rape has been consistent under his leadership. A woman, married or single, has the right to say no. When that right is violated, there must be legal consequences. On multiple occasions, the FNM has publicly called for changes to the law. How old is this law?
These guys got to stop it.
How old is it? It must be.
They really got to stop.
You know, I'll tell you.
He was there as a minister in the government.
How old is the doggone law?
Less than 10 years old.
So it just came. It was just enacted.
But he had a chance to change it.
It says
he was a part
to
of
protect
that.
all Bahamians while ensuring the law is not exploited. And while the Progressive Liberal Party let's keep it moving, Liberal Party, PLP, cowers in fear of losing votes, the FNM is not afraid to address the issue with the seriousness victims deserve. Gentlemen, Leslie, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here, Leslie. Good evening to you. Ellington, of course, is here still. Listen, I have y'all walked around, and what are people saying? Because every woman, any man, whether or not he puts a ring on her finger, lays in bed with her legally and lawfully, or someone she is seeing, has to observe when a woman says no, she means no.
Listen, I have discussed this matter with many women as I walk through different constituencies, as I'm doing now, as we speak. The average woman is clueless, or pretend to be clueless as to what is going on with this marital rape, you know. First of all, you have two couples who say they love each other, they get married. They have children too, you know, it gets affected. If my wife would say, I rape her, and go to court, what are my kids going to say? These people have children. Why mommy took daddy to court? This is the average Bahamian now. Why mommy, how did daddy rape mommy? And they sleep in the same room. Or mommy sleep in my room sometime. And my little sister or my little brother would sleep with daddy. It's a complicated situation. And you have to look at the persons who are pushing this. Look at their lifestyle also. As to why it is that they have this anger among men. That my husband or my spouse raped me. That is not what the average Bahamian man does. It is wrong. To throw this weight on the average Bahamian man, he raped me. This is a woman saying that her husband, her boyfriend who she has cohabited with probably for years and years because they're angry or they break up, you still live in the same house. He raped me. I just don't buy into that. Most Bahamian women does not buy into that. I'm talking about these high societal ones who is missing this and who they think they are. I'm talking about the average, the ones who make up 65% of the local population.
Why do you, because the law does protect a woman in marriage, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
When she says no.
Yes.
Why do you think this agenda is continuing to be pushed?
I think for many reasons. A lot of those women are whatever the hell they are.
What Leslie?
Bunnies or whatever you call them, whatever you call them. They have their own preferences as to who they want to sleep with. So you get so angry with the man because you don't want him to begin with. So the minute the fella.
So you're saying because the women like women that they want to attack men over this issue?
This is a deep issue that we need to get to the core of. Why is it that only certain categories of women, the average Bahamian woman, never go to court and say, he raped me. You have kids together, how would you feel?
And if he did, listen, there's recourse. Ellington, jump in. Because my thing is, and I want to explore this further, because many people feel as though this, first of all, why? Why is this the prominent thing that certain women are seeing the need to push? And I am, listen to me, I'm not a feminist, but I certainly am a woman, a proud one at that. I am saying, if the laws are in place, that protect every woman on this soil here called the Bahamas, then what more? And I know the law is a bit funny when it says that rape in the Bahamas is described as when a woman doesn't give consent over the age of 14, outside, of course, that woman, unless she is in the confines of marriage. That is the thing that they have an issue with that clause. However, overall, the law protects all women in instances of rape.
To destroy the character and reputation of these people? Because most people who are saying this, are upper-class Bahamians, professional women. I say you don't have the average Bahamian, which constitute 65% of our population, have a problem with this. I'm not saying men don't take advantage of them, but this rape thing is a special thing. Sure they fight, sure they have their differences. But you have kids involved. Tell me, how would you feel if your 10-year-old daughter was to read in the newspaper or get interviewed by the police that her daddy raped her mother? Just think of that.
Well, if he did, then by all means, but...
Shanique, one of the first things, let's consider several things. When a couple come together to get married, one of the things that you guarantee is going to happen in that relationship is sexual intercourse. That's a norm. That's a natural expectation of things. Secondly, what I need to see is data from the police department on the reports of this kind of thing. How many married women goes to the police and report that their husband is raped,
or my boyfriend raped
them? Again, there is a place for when a marriage is on the rocks where a husband or the woman then it becomes off limit to that man. There's a place for that. But that place must be clearly established. That line must be clearly drawn, because marriage between a man and a woman, it denotes they're going to have sexual intercourse. And so we need to be very careful. And I applaud the Prime Minister for being careful as he tread on this. And I think the opposition need to be careful what you say. Hubert Ingram once said, be careful what you say when you're in opposition, because you just might become the government.
They had the power to amend the law.
They've been there. Pinta never spoke to this. This issue, he ain't just come up. This issue spanned about 3 administrations. So it's hypocritical to be so strong on it and you never spoke to it. So we need to be very careful. There's a place for violence against women, even in marriage.
And again,
if we need to strengthen the laws to deal with these things, whereas a marriage is on the rock, a woman is sleeping in a different bedroom and they're not seeing each other, we need to have that discussion to see how we move forward.
And again, why would Mr. Davis be afraid to amend the law if it's necessary? What does he have to lose? You believe that women will not vote for his party because you wouldn't amend the law?
Many women don't support
65% of the women.
Many women don't support it.
Has no interest in it.
But we really need to.
But that is what I'm saying, because you see, in this nation, there's too much going on. Listen, people in Grand Bahama losing their homes. You understand? The economy is still very much vulnerable there. And so here's this group pushing what?
People in Grand Bahama living in hotels that has been abandoned for the last 10, 15 years.
How about push for Grand Bahama to be sold? How about that? How about push? How about push for people who are underemployed to at least get on where they need to be leveled off to be able to make at least a decent amount of money to live with some sort of nice decorum. They don't have to hang their head down and pinch from here to do this and pinch from there to do that. How about push for that?
And Shanique, my thought is that's exactly where the Prime Minister said it is. There are a lot of other things he wants to focus on as it relates to giving this issue so much of his attention and try to get Bahamians on jobs, get Bahamians in homes, and get our economy stronger, that Bahamians can be able to take care of themselves.
I'll tell you, I am a proponent of women, marriage, and all of it. I am not at all siding with a man here, but you know,
That's
we are not.
business.
We are not. No, if it's violence happening in the bedroom, marriage or not, then the law is there to deal with it.
Absolutely.
But you're not going to also go and destroy families. Huh?
Because once you do that, the family's finished.
Because it's basically it's on the brink now.
And so what? Why can't I say that my wife raped me or my girlfriend raped me? That happens sometimes too.
That's right.
That happens. You fight, you have a disagreement, and you say, man, forget it. Then they grab you. That's life. That's love. Because you make up all the time.
Would you report
In
it?
the morning you report, but I try to do it again.
Listen, Leslie, listen, stay focused here. Stay focused, please. Because he don't mind. How woman can rape a man? Be quiet, please. A Coral Harbor resident. A Coral Harbor.
You can do it again tomorrow night.
Fight again so you could make up. Yeah, a Coral Harbor resident claims she was threatened, followed home, held at gunpoint, and robbed of $800, a phone, handbag, NIB card, and bank card while on her way to the bus stop. The incident allegedly occurred on Thursday. That's just the day before Valentine's.
Shouldn't we be concerned about that?
No, we ain't concerned about this.
They ain't concerned about that?
No.
Okay.
The victim alleges that the robbery was organized by a woman driving a taxi who offered her a ride in January and later increased the fare to drop her home. The woman and two men returned, targeting the victim on Junkanoo Beach and threatened her. The victim has chosen to remain anonymous for fears of her safety.
That story.
Is this the same person?
Same person.
That sounds like
You
two
guys,
different
if
stories.
When I was coming out of Coral Harbor, this cube pulled up on the side of me. It either looked appeared like a burgundy cube or a black cube. And the lady pulled up on the side of me, and she came out of the car along with her nephew. They tried to block me because I didn't know they was behind me, following me. So when they thought I was going to run, he came out of the car with the gun, and then he approached me and say where his auntie money is, and then he started pulling the gun up in my face, say I must give him everything out of my inside my purse. I must give him the iPhone with the recording, what I record, to give to the police. And then he threatened to kill me and said, if I go to the police, they'll kill me. They know where I live. They will shoot up the woman's house. And then afterwards, they started making that threat towards me by calling contact from private number and stuff like that, telling me that ain't nothing is going to happen, nothing will become of it, and tell me that they're going to get away with everything. Okay, Thursday of last week, I went on Junkanoo Beach, and actually the one taxi lady there, it was like a month ago, she asked me if she could give me a ride. At first, she charged me like $20, and then because she knew that somebody I talked to who comes on the beach, she actually asked me and carried the price up, said that I have $80-something for her. And then she actually come that night when I was waiting on my ride right on Junkanoo Beach. She came up to me along with two of her nephews, who she claims that is her nephew. And she came up to me and they started making threat towards me. She started coming up in my face like she wanted to fight me. And then after that, one of the guys told me that ain't none of these people could save me on the beach, not even the guy who I talked to. And then they started making that threat towards me.
So that is quite frightening. This woman is alleging that basically she's targeted by a woman who set her up. Leslie, turn right here. I know you're not used to sitting there, but just turn right here. By a woman who set her up. According to her, she alleges that the woman responsible for her being held up at gunpoint and robbed, and somebody who she had an interaction with last month. And so, this has now become, unfortunately, the Bahamas. And this is where we need to focus on. You remember from, tourists being accosted and crime being what it is. I mean, when we talk about building a nation that can return to its glory days in terms of the peace and tranquility, this is what we're talking about. This is what's necessary for all of us to put our efforts and energy towards and focus in on correcting and changing and making provisions for. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
Again, Shanique, we've got to take these things very seriously.
Yeah.
And I hope, obviously, she had interaction with these persons, especially the cab driver, and I hope the police is on to this. She gave them the proper identification. But we've got to take these things seriously. We've got to look at we've got to look at legislation, because these people take these things for joke, and they go before the court and say, oh, it's my first offense, and all of this foolishness. It's how many other times you get away. This time you got caught. So people got to feel the brunt of the law.
That's what it is. That's,
in order
the women of the nation, women, we are powerful. How about we lead?
Yes.
We lead the charge in getting lawmakers and getting the judiciary to revamp this our judicial system that is in desperate need of overhaul, where you can sentence, where they can enforce the capital punishment and any other strict other punishment.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like let's stop playing, man. Let's focus on what needs to be focused on. You see that there?
That's very serious.
Somebody who's vulnerable and look, you know what I mean?
A woman in terror. That's terrorists. We're terrorizing people.
But how is it that you could threaten a woman's life? She knows who you are, and telling you to go to the police, what can happen? How does that work?
That's right.
You have to go to the police on that, because how many other people have been in that same position? You got to take them terrorists off the streets.
Or if they continue,
are terrorists.
if they continue coming back threatening her.
The cab driver shouldn't have that license no more.
With the greatest extent, whoever that license is, I hope she got the plate.
I hope so.
They should be hauled before the court too.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about that 41-year-old father. You guys remember him, the one who disciplined his son? Well, he appeared in court. We'll tell you how that played out. And also, hopefully, we have some time for you. We'll talk about that SpaceX program that's headed to the Bahamas. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Hello, ambitious women. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? This is your chance to shine. I'm Adriana Fox, co-founder of the Fox Foundation.
And I'm Adriel Fox, legacy advocate of the Fox Foundation.
We're thrilled to announce the second annual Women's Entrepreneurship Episode Grants Initiative, created to empower and support women like you who are making waves in the business world.
This year, we're offering $75,000 in grants to female entrepreneurs with innovative business ideas in undersaturated markets and industries that have yet to reach their full potential. Our top 3 prizes are $25,000 for first place, $20,000 for second place, and $15,000 for third place. In addition, 7 runner-ups will receive $2,000.
We encourage businesses such as those in digital markets like web innovations, AI-driven service, niche e-commerce, or emerging industries such as green technologies, health tech, cultural tourism, and personalized educational platform. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or tackling that big idea that needs a financial boost, this grant is for you. Last year, we funded 10 incredible entrepreneurs, and this year, it could be you.
Imagine what you could achieve with the funding to grow your dreams.
Apply now and join a powerful community of women entrepreneurs leading the way. Applications are open from January 31st to February 28th. Don't wait. Visit our website for more information. This is your opportunity to break into a growing market and make an impact. Apply today, and let's build a future of unstoppable women entrepreneurs together.
My name is Limburg Smith. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for both Oasis Fresh and Tropic Shipping. Oasis Fresh is a new fresh produce store located in Lyford Storage and Commerce Park, and we sell fresh produce, meats, dairy, and whole foods. We partner with EV because we also offer delivery services to our clients. We offer it to commercial clients and residential clients. And with the purchase of new carry vans, it helps us to deliver our products faster, more efficiently, and it's cost saving to us. So we are very grateful for the partner with EV Motors in regards to our new fleet of vehicles. We used to spend about $220 per se per vehicle, having about 7 vehicles on the road for both our companies, Oasis Fresh and Tropics, which would cost us about $80,000 a year just on fuel. So you can imagine just how happy we are now with our new EV fleet. There was nothing better than a seamless process again, new vehicles for our company to help us proceed and be more efficient in the way we operate our business.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Speaking of what women can do, gentlemen, during the break, I thought about this. As you all saw in one of the dailies today, a Defense Force officer is recounting and being quoted as saying that he spoke at the Rotary Club last week, and in there, during that speech, he gave examples of just exactly how troubling it is, a troubled state that this nation finds itself, that on the campuses of primary schools now, primary school kids are dealing drugs, are being recruited to join gangs, are committing crimes, are carrying weapons to school. On school campuses. I didn't say junior or senior, you all. I said primary.
Under 12 years of age.
Women, where are y'all?
And exhibiting high sexual action.
Exactly.
Oh, they are doing that as well. They're having sex in school. Ellington, break that down. No, you can't speak Bahamian when you got to talk about that. Break that down. They're having sex in school, in primary school.
Exactly.
Yeah. Out of order, because why? These parents, many of these women are too busy trying to go to the club and see who else they could pick up.
Exactly.
And then the men just sprinkle seeds around and move off like they don't care. They don't have a care in the world. And so the thing is, this is where the nation finds itself teetering if we don't get it together. You talk about people, Bahamians who feel disenfranchised because they can't find work. Oftentimes what's happening now, and we see it happening more and more, is because they are now they have been outpaced for what's needed in this job market right here. The skills are not there. And so women, let's come together. Let's begin to change this society so that life is better for all of us as a result of that. And therefore it cuts crime and all the social ills that we see playing out before us. That's what it does.
We must fight for the soul of our nation.
Yes. I was astounded when I read that article. I read the whole thing twice. That young kids under the age of 13 are being recruited by gangs, taking knives and other instruments, dangerous instruments, in the classroom, having sexual encounters in the school. And here we are, people talking about marital rape, for Christ's sake, man. How do we save the next generation of Bahamians? How do we put them on the right pathway to make a contribution to our country and to themselves and build a better country? These are the things that we should be fostering in our country, calling out that mothers and fathers got to do better.
Absolutely.
You got to look after your children. They are yours. That's what God gave you. They are precious children. They got to turn to goodness instead of the bad things that they see others do.
I so agree.
That's what we got to be concerned about.
And Shanique, we got to also look at returning to be our brother's keeper, our neighbor's keeper. I was in a conversation today with a young gentleman that speak on how we have to, sometimes he look at his neighbor and he see things ain't right and he would go over to them and approach them and talk to them and try to help them sometimes. Sometimes people just need a hand up.
He's a great Bahamian.
People needs a hand up. And so we need to be our brother's keeper in this country once again. Like we used to. And look out for the kid next door. Have a conversation with them sometime. Pause in your busy schedule and talk to that kid that's walking up the street.
Make a difference.
That's passing your house every day. Say a word of encouragement, a word of inspiration to that kid. Maybe you can change the trajectory of that kid's life. I tell you, Simeon Hall normally come on the radio with a little commercial and speak to how somebody spoke to him.
That's
and
right.
transform his life.
From Dog
That is what we ought to be about in this country.
Yeah, no, it's urgent that we do that. Let's put our focus on that.
Absolutely.
The energy that seems to be seeking and searching for something to actually do.
Exactly.
Well, let's bite into that right
Do
there, because that is exactly what needs to be done. Let's rescue these kids. Let's cause women to be mothers again. And then these men, women stop playing with these men, because as you can see, they have they just dumping stuff all over the place.
Yes.
and springing up spawn. You know what I mean? And then they just skip along and saunter along looking for the next victim. No. You've got to take care of the child that you caused to be here.
And don't forget, the men got to step to the plate too, eh? Those negligent fathers.
Yes.
Who do you want to have a baby and then go? And the only time they talk about it when they're in the club, and the kid is a good sports or academic person, and that's my son. Never did a damn thing for him in his entire life.
Absolutely.
But they won't brag about him.
Absolutely.
Could you please step to the plate?
Step up to the plate.
90% of them.
Step up to the plate.
Ain't no good.
Step up to the plate. Meanwhile, speaking of stepping up to the plate, a 41-year-old father who was hauled before the courts last week after his son's mother made a police complaint following the discovery of bruises on their 10-year-old son will avoid jail time. The father pleaded guilty to child cruelty, a charge handed down to him by Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Voigt Evans, after he admitted that he went overboard while disciplining his son with a belt after he reportedly lied about not having homework. Voigt Evans made the decision to not impose jail time on the father, but ordered him to attend parenting classes for 3 months after speaking with the young child, who is an honor roll student. Honor roll. An order was also handed down to the parents that the mother will spend every other weekend with the young child. Well, yeah, but
What the hell she's be doing?
that part, because she wasn't before.
Get
I mean,
ready.
you all stay. Voigt Evans urged the parents to settle their differences as a young child is involved, and following her order, she held hands with the parents and the son and prayed with them.
Wow. God bless her. God bless her.
Yeah, but let's get back to there though, because we get into in the habit of the child, the son is an honor roll student, stays with his father. So his father obviously is very strict on him. Is very strict on him to ensure that this kid, because the father know that the street's real. The father know that, guess what? If you play around in school and come out there not knowing how to spell BGCSE, that you in trouble. So many people, adults, are now in trouble because they can't even hold up a paper to read.
Yes,
you understand? And so therefore, imagine going for a job, to go online and fill out an application form or go, no. So therefore, here's a man who perhaps, yes, lost his temper or got emotional, but he's doing that because he knows life real. I'm not saying abuse a child, but to spank a child, sir, do not spare the rod. And judges, you all ought to know firsthand why Bahamian parents should not be sparing the rod. And I don't mean rod as in a piece of iron, but certainly every kid here deserves spanking if they do something that warrants it.
And we should also thank the judge for doing such a wonderful job.
Yes, absolutely.
Also thank her. She's a wonderful human being.
I think that whole ordeal, how she ended that and prayed with them, is exemplary.
And tell the mother to go take care of the little fellow on the weekend?
The father is to be, before people beat up on the father is to be credited and to be congratulated for doing a job, because most fathers... most fathers absent, like Shanique alluded to and you alluded to earlier, take care of the children. Fathers are not there. And so that father that is there and raising that child and bringing him up. See, and I can understand the father maybe, like he said, he gone a little overboard. Frustration, because no doubt this is a father who knows the street. And when these children begin to lie to you, it's they're doing things and they're getting involved in little things that you know where it could go, and that could be very frustrating to see you putting so much in your child and you could see them straying away a little bit. Yes, they're on a roll, but sometimes they end up off track. And so the father's doing what he can, and he admitted that he went a little overboard, and it can happen to any parent. And so we want to commend him, and we hope that this be a learning lesson for father, child, and mother, and they all put their differences aside. Father and mother can work to raise that child in the best, and that child could continue being an honor roll and one day contribute to this country.
Exactly, and continue to do your best.
Absolutely.
And the mother too, step to the plate.
Step up to the plate, and I'll tell you this, don't think your child is too smart or too cute not to spank them, okay?
Absolutely.
Because I'll tell you, spanking served many of people who you're looking at walking around in coat suit today, perhaps, or maybe some of them should have been spanked. What I'm saying is, do not rule out discipline. when you are rearing children nowadays. It's just too, it's too freehand nowadays. And so discipline has a role in when you are rearing children into responsible adults. And so certainly don't dismiss that just because we are now a modern society where to look like we're the people to the north. I tell you, so that, okay? So
just got to do it responsibly.
Absolutely.
Not to cause excessive injury, but just to correct the child. First, Make sure they know why you're correcting them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gentlemen, I thank you both very much. I thank you for stepping in. You know, sometimes when you have to quickly like rejuggle a show, you guys step right in and help me bring that together. So grateful for that. I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. We certainly enjoyed having you along. And thank you for all of your comments. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in. It's so good to just feel that energy. We look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.